I would be lying if I said I didn't have a sour taste in my mouth with the way that year 2 finished. It was back-to-back losses, and the offense turned the football over 7 times in those 2 losses. We improved our win total by 1 compared to year 1. But I gotta say, this season was filled with ups and downs. We went on winning streaks, then we went on losing streaks. We got blown out, for the first time in the series, 28-0. We put up a goose egg on San Diego State at one point this season. We then went on a 3-game winning streak where the offense looked incredible. And then we followed it up by finishing the season with poor defense, and we turned the football over way too much. And that's got to be an emphasis because we did a good job at not turning the football over as much in season 2. That's got to be an even bigger emphasis going into season 3. We cannot turn the football over, and we especially can't turn the football over 7 times in 2 games. Looking at Robert Briggs, we're definitely going to miss him. One interesting thing about Robert Briggs, only one time this season did he go over 100 yards on the ground. Johnny Santee went over 100 yards in the Wyoming game and had a really good average the entire season. He'll probably be running back 1 going into next season. We'll have to see how it plays out. Jack Castera didn't get the production he deserved in the final 3 games at all, especially the final 2 games. Only 3 receptions in the final 2 games of the season. When you look at the way we played when he got the ball the most, we won a lot of games. Shelton Sampson is somebody who got a lot of production at times, but then there's some games like the Fresno State game where he only had 1 catch for 2 yards. Against Texas A&M, he had 1 catch for 7 yards. He definitely had a slow start to the season, but I'm definitely excited to see if he'll come back and what kind of impact he can make going into year 3. Ike Larson is probably going to be the guy we miss the most without even realizing it. An 89 overall free safety. You don't really realize how good he is until he's not there. So he may be the guy we miss the most going into season 3. We were middle of the pack when it comes to passing the football. We were second in the conference in rushing the football this season, lower in points per game. And when you look at our defense, we were about middle of the pack with 4,211 yards being given up. And I think that our defense is solid, but they really struggled against Washington State. So how do you rebound after that's your final game of season 2? You have to be able to get that sour taste out of your mouth and be excited to come back in year 3 and play against Pac-12 opponents, because we are going to be moving to the Pac-12, and play strong defense. And here's a look at your national championship matchup between Miami and Penn State, as Penn State's looking to cap off a 16-0 undefeated season. There were some classics in the semifinals, as here's a look. Miami dominates in the national championship 42-17. As Nicholas Vadiato, 5 touchdown passes, 3 interceptions. Damian Martinez, 74 yards on the ground. And Josiah Trader with 103 receiving yards with 3 touchdowns to go along with it. Here is a look at the players leaving. And we have nobody trying to transfer out. We have nobody trying to declare early. It'll be interesting to see if we have anybody who is actually looking to get drafted, as we do have 2, Robert Briggs and Ike Larson. So that's actually pretty cool to see. The 5'6", 180-pound running back could be a potential draft pick, like a Deuce Vaughn type of player. Maybe he could be somebody like that. As we advance to the next week, we're able to pick up the commitment of 2-star kicker Stephen Abraham from Bellflower, California. And here's a look at your draft results. Ike Larson was selected in the 3rd round, and Robert Briggs is a 4th round running back. That's definitely exciting to see as we pick up our 3rd drafted player of the series so far. The fullback Dylan Carson from Air Force was selected in the 6th round. Jeremiah Irby, the corner from Boise State, was selected in round number 5. 2 players for Fresno State. Mikey Keene is the most surprising one, though, a 6th round selection of 5'11" quarterback. San Diego State and Wyoming each had draft picks as well, as that's pretty good to see for the conference in the Mountain West. Here's a look at the transfer portal. Keanu Tanavasu is going to be the first guy that we add. We'll also add Braden Dorman from Colorado State, and then we have a couple more quarterbacks that we're going to add. Baron Downs from BYU, we're going to definitely add him to the board. And then looking at corner, I think we need to definitely improve. You saw how the season ended in season 2, and that bowl game against Washington State, our corners looked really bad. And I think we need to get better in the secondary. I think we can utilize the transfer portal to do that. Here's a look at Keanu Tanavasa. He's the 9th ranked transfer portal product. He is the 2nd best defensive tackle, and there's no question we're going to be offering him a scholarship. Here's Noah Lugo, a quarterback. He's a transfer. He's a freshman, and I'm really looking for throw power with these guys, and he just didn't have it. 86 throw power, I can't get past that. I need 90 throw power at minimum to be able to run my offense. Here's Josh Epperson. He has the 92 throw power, so that's definitely good to see. He's also a freshman, so when he comes in to play for, with his new team, he'll be a sophomore. So we're definitely offering him a scholarship. Braden Dorman has even better throwing power, 94 throwing power. He's got pretty good accuracies as well, and he's only going to be a junior when he comes to his next team. Darren Downs is a tackle that we're going to be looking at here. He's got really good run blocking skills. He's got pretty solid pass blocking skills to go with it. The number 1 man on my board is Josiah Wagner. He's the 37th best transfer, 76 man, 77 zone. He is as balance gets, and I think he would certainly help our secondary out if we're able to bring him in. If we're not able to bring him in, Chance Harrison may be a guy that we could look at. He's got a lot lower man coverage. He's got lower zone coverage, so he's not somebody I would definitely be as excited about. And we also add a punter to the board as well. We pick up the commitment of 3-star Pat Snow. He as an athlete looks to be a receiver potentially. As we do jump out in front for Tanavasa, we're in 3rd on Josh Epperson, trying to battle Tennessee in that one. Braden Dorman has put us number 1, and it looks like we may run away with this one very quickly, along with Darren Downs. Josiah Wagner is a little bit more interested in heading to Boise, Idaho to play for the Broncos. Chance Harrison has us number 1, San Diego State trying to make a push as well, and we are in a good position for the punter. So right here, we're going to try and get Josiah Wagner on a visit here. I think that's definitely something that's important to do. We're going to try and pitch to proximity to home. He's from Washington, so that might work for us. We're also able to pick up the 3-star linebacker Sean Meeks. He is a JUCO product. And right now I'm trying to improve our quarterbacks in this offseason. If we're able to get a good offseason training boost, that's what we're trying to do right here. I think the quarterback position is going to be important heading into season 2. I would argue maybe the running back position would be even more important. Maybe the receivers. The offense is going to be an interesting, it's going to be interesting. The offense will be interesting heading into season 2. I think the defense will be pretty solid though. Keanu Tanavasa, we're going to come and try and get him on a visit here as we're in a battle with him. We take the other quarterback off the board. We're happy with where we're at with Dorman and Downs. Josiah Wagner, Utah has now made a push. We have the visit and everything, but we're going to try and go with a hard sell right here. We're trying to just guess that maybe he wants playing time, and so we're going with the time to get to work hard sell. If it works, it's going to work to perfection. If it's wrong, we may have just screwed ourselves out of a chance to get Josiah Wagner. Chance Harrison, we're going to go on here, and we're going to try and send the house on him because we're starting to feel that we may lose out on Josiah Wagner. As we move forward here, all of them have made their top 3s now. Tanavasa has us number 2 behind San Diego State, and he's supposed to be coming on a visit, and he still does not like us. As we're trying to go with the hard sell on Tanavasa here, we know 2 of the things he likes, but one of them is playing time, and he's not really a big fan of it. We don't have that many defensive tackles on roster, so that kind of worries me. Josiah Wagner, Utah has been locked out, and Boise State has now taken over that number 1 spot again. So it's a battle for Josiah Wagner. It'll be interesting to see where he does end up. He's somebody that I'm excited about, but we're trying to make one last push to bring him in. As we move on to look to see Emmett Brown, the San Jose State quarterback that put them in the playoffs, has transferred to USC. So maybe boosting his stock a little bit as we bring in Braden Dorman from Colorado Springs, Colorado as a backup quarterback potentially. Darren Downs from New Jersey and Chance Harrison, the cornerback. So that's 3 transfer portal commitments, but we unfortunately did miss out on Tanavasa and Wagner. Those are the 2 guys that I was most excited about, so it does kind of suck that we missed out on them. As if you didn't see the development traits in the previous episode, it was like at the end of the regular season. Here is a look at the development traits of our commitments here. Some guys I'm a little bit disappointed in. Shudak and Lemonier, I'm definitely disappointed to have normal development, but then there's some guys that have elite development, and Steve Giraldo. And then we also have a star development defensive end in Greg Tecklenburg that I'm definitely excited about as well. As you see, Keanu Tanavasa committed to San Diego State. We may be seeing him next season. And then Josiah Wagner commits to Boise State. We may be seeing him as well next season. We are able to bring in Melvin Tant, so we have a punter moving forward. Going on to position changes now, here's Artie Burks. We are going to keep Burks at a power running back position. Tyreek Siegler, 6'5", 229, and he fares pretty well as a defensive end as opposed to a tight end. And I think we can always use depth along the defensive line, so we move Siegler to defensive line. Pat Snow fares better at strong safety. We thought maybe he'd be a receiver. Instead, we put him at strong safety. I think that's a good call. Now, here's the part that gets a little weird. Mike Lemonier, I put him at corner. I put him at corner because I thought maybe he could be a two-way player for us potentially. So I put him at corner, realized that his press was at like 20-something. So at the end of this video, I moved him to wide receiver. There is an issue with moving players' positions outside of this position changes screen where it just tanks their ratings. Instead, I went back to what his ratings were at this screen, moved him to receiver, and moved his ratings back to what they were at this screen. So he will be a wide receiver in year 3 in his freshman season. He'll be a wide receiver. He will not be playing cornerback. It was an error that I made. I didn't want him at corner. It's not like I played the week 1 episode and then decided then I wanted to move him to receiver. We were still in the offseason. That's the way I look at it. We were still in the offseason. We tried him at corner, didn't really like it, so we moved him to wide receiver. And that's what I'm going to stick with. As if you haven't been paying attention to the freshman's ratings, I do recommend you do that, as we're going to move the freshman Bernie Davis over to left tackle to try and even that out a little bit. The offensive line, I think, has a lot of potential to be really good in the future and this season as well. It's a very experienced group, but we have really solid depth behind them. Looking at Siegler and Tecklenburg, 65 and 66 overall. I'm most excited about Greg Tecklenburg, though. I think that he could be an excellent pass rusher. Siegler has the speed to be an excellent pass rusher. As here's 4-star Imani Awesome, 75 overall. It'll be interesting to see. Maybe he could be a day 1 starter as a true freshman. And then there's Mike Lemonier. He was a 70 overall corner. But with the press that he had, there was no way he was ever going to ever play, really. Andres Sosa, 68 overall, and Pat Snow, a 69 overall. Here's a look at the top classes in the country. I honestly thought we would be higher. We finished 34th in the country. We picked up 24 commitments. That may be why we didn't finish higher. Maybe the 2 stars brought our rating down a little bit. But I'm definitely excited about this recruiting class. There's no question about it. We finished top among the Mountain West Conference. Fresno State was right behind us. Boise State finished 58th. They were able to make a push, bringing in Josiah Wagner. So I'm definitely interested to see these teams move on to the Pac-12 with us and see how much better we can all get at recruiting. Moving on to training results. This is everybody's favorite screen. Joshua Wood is a 79 overall. Tobias really didn't make a push, an upgrade the way that I thought he was going to. So Joshua Wood will more than likely be your opening day starter. If he struggles, I do think that either Braden Dorman or Jeremiah Tobias would take over, not necessarily Childress, as I had a brain fart there. Johnny Santi is 72 overall now. Even more important, Antoine Hausler is an 82 overall. So definitely going to see Hausler in the backfield a lot more. Unfortunately, Thomas Yates didn't make any development going into his sophomore season, so that's pretty disappointing. Looking at our receivers here, Tyler Sexton up to a 74 overall. Pretty decent development out of Tyler Sexton. Looking at our tight ends here, Tua Tagovailoa, not really great development. Pierre Lambeau, not really great development. Gabe Shudak will start day 1 at tight end. Trey Anderson up to a 79 overall. Madu Apuaka is going to be an 84 overall as he takes over the starting role for George Maley. George Maley was the starter last year, but Madu Apuaka made a better leap heading into year 3, so he will start at left guard. We will not see Keel start at right guard, more than likely heading into year 3. Sorry, I'm having a lot of brain farts as I do this commentary. This is one of the most difficult commentaries for me to do because not a lot of game action. I have to kind of just talk. Carl Nesmith, an 81 overall pass rusher. Woodbury will be the backup to him, and then Roland Flood going into his redshirt freshman season. Zach Swanson, we will finally be able to see what Zach Swanson is all about. We brought him in as a transfer, and we weren't able to see him last season because he was dealing with an injury. So we will finally get to see him here in year 3. And then looking at the linebackers here, Bronson Aleval up to an 82 overall, as Elias Guerrero really didn't make the jump that we would like to see. Max Alford a 77 overall, and then Braden Pope, the redshirt freshman, is a 74 overall. Here's the jump that I was most excited about, and it was out of nowhere. Eric Drake is going to be a 78 overall corner, and he will more than likely start in the slot for us in year 3. Chase Davis takes over the role that Ike Larson had in year 1 and year 2. Chase Davis not the highest overall. And then Raider Damouni and Terrell Taylor are even at 78 overalls heading into year 3. So we're going to see a little bit of a position battle there at the strong safety position. Then we rounded off with our kickers and our punters. And then looking at the freshmen, I can't believe Thomas Yates is the lowest overall player on our team. That is ridiculous. I didn't even notice that until just now. Thomas Yates with some very negative development. And to be honest with you, we may see Thomas Yates transfer out after this season. We may force him to transfer because I don't think he stands a chance starting over guys like Johnny Santee. You even brought in Deshaun Layman as a running back. As here's a look at the new Pac-12. I'm kind of just yapping. We do have the additions of California and Stanford. They moved back over from the ACC, back out to the Pac-12. I think it benefits them the most. And then Tulane is taking their shot at the Pac-12, and that's interesting. It reminds me of the SMU to the ACC. Tulane heads to the Pac-12, and they're going to be an early favorite to potentially win the conference. Louisiana Tech moves over to the Mountain West. San Jose State, probably the early favorite to win the Mountain West. We're definitely still going to keep an eye on that conference, but the Pac-12 is going to be the most interesting. Here's a look at the schedule. We'll open on the road against Utah. Then we will have a home game against Louisiana Tech. Then on the road to face BYU for the first time this season. I'm excited about that matchup. And then we have Oregon State on the road against Washington State. A rematch game that I'm definitely excited about. Home against Boise State, on the road against Rice. And right here's where the schedule just kind of goes weird. And I don't know if this is going to be a yearly occurrence. But we finished the season with 5 straight home games. And that shouldn't be a thing. It definitely should not be a thing. We should not be finishing the season with 5 straight home games. I hope that that doesn't happen every single season, because if it does, it's going to kill the immersion. As now we're doing some preseason recruiting here. Glenn Vereen, a defensive end, run stopper, my fault. He's a bust, and I don't think that I want to take the chance on a bust, but he's a 4-star. We're going to offer him a scholarship. Here's Sateki Luvu, a defensive end. He's an actual speed rusher. We're going to go ahead and offer him a scholarship early. The goal here in Season 3's recruiting is to bring in more 4-stars than we did in year 2. Here's Imani Awesome's brother potentially at defensive tackle. That'd be pretty cool to bring him in. But I want to also try and pick up our first 5-star of the series. Juan Lima, the #1 recruit in the nation, is a gem, and we are offering him a scholarship. The fact that we're even able to, get into this battle for Juan Lima makes me excited. We're definitely going to try and go after him. Here's Steve Blades, a linebacker. We're going to offer him a scholarship, as we're going to need to replace a lot of linebackers here in the next couple of seasons. Here's another one, Tyree Radigan. We're going to offer him a scholarship as well. Artie Schillens, the next one, a run stopper who has 84 speed. Definitely looking for the speed at linebacker. We offer him a scholarship as well. Well, guess what? There's one more. Eldra Keener, a 3-star gem. We're offering him a scholarship as well. Brendan Sensabaugh, the #1 quarterback in the nation, a 5-star with excellent deep accuracy. He's got really good abilities, 94 throw power. We are offering him a scholarship. The fact we're able to talk to him gets me excited to potentially bring in a 5-star quarterback. Here's Juan Toppins. It'd be nice to have a good receiver to go with a 5-star quarterback. We'll offer the 4-star Juan Toppins a scholarship as well. As we move forward, we look at these players. Some of these guys haven't really narrowed their top 8 down yet, so we're not on their board. Juan Lima's one of those guys. Steve Blades has us at number 8, so that is good moving forward. Tyree Radigan, number 6 on his board, is we're going to try and make a push for at least 2 of these linebackers. If we're able to bring in at least 2 of these linebackers, I would be happy with that. Eldra Keener, we're number 1 on his board. Glenn Vereen, the bust, we're number 2 on his board. Sateki Luvu, number 1 on his board. Brendan Sensabaugh is favoring Penn State at the moment. We're going to see if we're able to get into that battle. We also offered another 5-star quarterback in Zach Walker. And then Juan Toppins, we're number 2 on his board. Here's how we're going to divvy up the points here. Not that you guys really do care at all. It's not really that important to show how I divvy up these points. Just know that I'm going to be trying to go after all of these guys. If I've offered 15 scholarships, I've offered a scholarship because I want that player. So I'm going to be going after each and every player. If they fall off of our board, then there's really nothing I can do about it. We have moved up to a 2.5-star program, and we've been able to upgrade our team prestige a little bit. Conference prestige, now that we move up to the Pac-12, is now a B. Coach stability at an A-, and that will allow us to be able to bring in more recruits. The pro potential is the big one. Now that we've had 3 guys get drafted, that's definitely going to help us out as far as recruiting these 5-stars go, because these guys don't want to come to a university where they can't go pro in. So if we're sending guys to the league, they're going to be more interested in coming to Logan, Utah to play for the Utah State Aggies. But we will open up Season 3 on the road against our biggest rivals, the Utah Utes. They beat us in Season 1 thoroughly. We're looking to get revenge and kick off Season 3 1-0. Hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.